Hello, guys. Welcome back onto the Dutch Couch. I think sometimes when we get these conversations of who's the best world's manager, who's the best coach in the world, we get the peps and what have you. I think there's one manager who gets totally overlooked, in my opinion. What a great coach this guy, Unai Emery at Aston Villa. I think he's top draw. I think he's among the absolute best in the world, without a doubt. His record shows that as well. And the job he's done at Villa is unreal. When he came in, there was in free fall, 16th in the Premier League. So where he's got them now, I'll touch more into that in a second. But he took over at Villa, like I said, in 16th. This is, let's get it right, Aston Villa are an absolutely historic, traditional, great English football club. Former European champions, actually. Amazing fan base in the second city there of Birmingham, right? And they play in an absolute cathedral of football. I've been to Villa Park, I've sat in the Holt End, loved every minute of it. My oldest son now, loved it. Loved everything about it. But the job he's done prior to Villa, I think speaks volumes about him anyway. He's won 4 Europa Leagues as a coach, 3 with Sevilla, 1 with Villarreal. Villarreal, he also took to a Champions League semi-final. Now that is an achievement for a club that size. The manager's got to get a lot of credit for that, surely. I know he won a double in France, and people go, well, it's only with PSG in France, anyone can do that. You can only beat what's in front of you. And I think he had personally, I think he had struggles with egos in the changing rooms there. People who thought they were bigger than the club. I thought he'd done a great job there and was treated a little bit unfairly in the end. I know his job at Arsenal was treated as or thought of as a little bit of a joke in England. That job at Arsenal was never going to work out for me. He came in there after Arsene Wenger, one of the biggest legends in the Premier League, and Arsenal was a football club. That's a hard job to fill after a legendary figure's gone in there and achieved what he did there, especially at the time, because I don't think Unai Emery's his English was the best at the time. I thought he'd done a great job with what he had to go with, basically, and he even got Arsenal to a European final. So that for me doesn't shout disaster. I think he deserves so much more respect. He's gone into Villa, like I said, they were 16th. This guy's brought them not only European football, he's brought them Champions League football. He's reached the quarter-final, provided those fans with some absolutely amazing nights at Villa Park. That game against, I think it was Bayern Munich, I was buzzing watching it on telly. Games like that. And now they're obviously in Europa League this season, they're competing. They're currently sitting, at the time of this is filming, 4th in the Premier League. Don't underestimate what this guy is producing at Aston Villa. It is incredible for me. I think he's definitely overlooked, without a doubt. Took them from 16th. He improves players for me. His management, I think his man management skills are top draw. From what I've seen, interviews I've seen and stuff I've read online and what have you, research I've done. But I think he's just an all-round, his tactical ability is second to none. I think he's up there with the best, tactically. I think the way he gets, the intensity that he seems to get out of that Villa team when they're on it. Every player knows their job. He's formed partnerships between players on the pitch. The consistency he's finding, the mentality that he's instilled in that Villa team, I think he's top draw. When I watch Villa, I don't fear for them against anybody. And this is one thing I say about the team that he has put together. They don't look like they fear anybody. There's no inferiority complex. They don't have no imposter syndrome here. Whoever they face, they feel they can beat. That comes from the manager. That comes from him. I look at the players, the partnerships. I look at the players like Ezri Konsa and Pau Torres. Sorry, I got my words wrong there. The partnership they've got at the back, I think is one of the best in the Premier League. I think they're excellent. He's formed a spine through that team. He's got Emi Martinez in goal. He wins the Golden Glove as best goalkeeper in the world last couple of years. Villa with the best goalkeeper in the world. Says it all. You've got those two at the back. I'm looking at John Mcginn. Now, I'll tell you what, people scoff. When you see John Mcginn, you look at him, people say, don't look like a footballer. Look past that, man. This guy is absolutely top draw. He is such a good player. He's got everything in his arsenal. That guy, he's so overrated, it's unbelievable. Not just on the ball. I think what he brings, his mentality, he is 110% graft constantly with talent. You can't buy mentality. That is in there. You want it. He wants to win. I look at Morgan Rogers. Obviously, he's coming from, I think it was Middlesbrough. He's been an absolute revelation. He's now a mainstay in England, probably the first 11 for England. And obviously, he's Ollie Watkins up front. I know he's, in my opinion, I think he's probably coming towards the end of Villa. I mean, I think he's turning 30. The goals have dried up. He's getting little injuries. I think his time might be coming up, and I think they probably should have cashed in maybe when Arsenal came in with big money for him. But if you look at the spine of that Villa team, that is so strong. That is unbelievable. And obviously, I look at I love Dutch football. Obviously, I watched Daniel Marlon. I think he's a great little player. A bit inconsistent. Some can be wasteful. Pace to burn. Absolute whippet. I think a great signing for Aston Villa. Really do. One player I look at. Matty Cash, he plays right back there. I think defensively he's improved. I think he's always been good going forward, but I think defensively he's improved in the last couple of years. He's really come on. And I'll tell you what, he scored an absolute banger in Rotterdam for Poland against the Netherlands there, the Dutch national team. That was a banger to get a point for Poland in the qualifiers. Unbelievable. The only thing I would say about them, which is understandable because they're playing Thursday, Sunday. You're going to get a little bit of you're going to get the odd result where you think, well, hold up, they can't handle this. I see them, they went to the Netherlands and lost the go-ahead Eagles, didn't they? But then they came home, and I think the Sunday after, 3 days later, I think they beat Man City. So that shows you, maybe they're struggling to get up for certain games and they're prioritising certain games. Maybe they've not got the biggest squad in the world. They've done the same, I think another time they played in Europe, then they came home and played against, I think it was Crystal Palace, and they got pumped 3-0 at Villa Park, which was for me a massive surprise, even though Palace are a fantastic team. But that consistency, I think, when you're trying to juggle those competitions, it's difficult. But saying that, they must have mastered it because they're currently sitting in 4th position in the Premier League as I'm filming this. So they're doing something right. I think he's done an amazing job. How far can he take this team? That's the thing for me. He's obviously took them from 16th to where he was. He's took them to the highest table of European football. So you can't go any higher than that. The only thing you can do is actually win the competition. Can he form a team at Aston Villa that can challenge for the league title? Absolutely challenge for it. Because for me, they're punching. They're really punching at the moment with the teams that are around them and the money that teams are spending. I think Villa are punching already. So they've done an amazing job. Him, his backroom staff. I think the fans are a big part of it. I think the fans really, at home in particular, absolutely push them on. They win games that they might be struggling in, but they'll grab a goal. And the fans will be literally sucking the ball into the goal. Such a good crowd at Villa Park. Brilliant. And one little side comment actually, I'd love to see. I've done a Birmingham video about their new stadium a couple of weeks ago. I would love to see Aston Villa and Birmingham reignite the rivalry in the Premier League. I think it's great for two teams in the same city to thrive, and then throw Coventry in the Premier League as well. I think that'd be amazing. But yeah, just a side thought there. But yeah, I wonder how far he can take them. Has he took them as far as he can take them? The problem with Villa is, compared to the other big teams like your Arsenals, your Chelseas, etc., Cities, Liverpools, they seem like they can spend so much money and without any. We talk about these FIFA fair play rules and what have you, these fair play financial rules. Villa and Newcastle, clubs like this, where they don't generate as much money commercially and what have you, I think they're suffering here. I think they're, what shall I say? I think they're getting a raw deal. I think they're being held back from competing at the highest level, should we say? Because I think in the summer, when all those other teams were strengthening massively, I don't think clubs like Villa could really compete in that respect because they had certain rules that they had to adhere by. And for me, that sort of defies the object. I think when it's the Premier League and you call it the best club in the world, I think if teams have got spending power, let them spend, let them compete. Let's see that. I think they've definitely, them and Newcastle, I've done a video on Newcastle actually, I sort of feel the same way about them, but they're doing brilliantly, they're in the Champions League. Yeah, it's hard. This is one of the clubs as a neutral I look at, and I just see history and tradition. And like I say, they was former European champions, right? Which is now what the youngsters call the Champions League. Sorry. So for a club to think of a club like Aston Villa winning that competition now is unthinkable for so many people. For me as a youngster, I wouldn't say it was a norm, but it was massive. And I think we need to. I'd love to get back to the days where teams who are unfancied to win these big trophies actually have a genuine opportunity to win them, and are not absolutely blown out of the water financially. I'd love to see it. Forest were the same with Brian Clough. But when I think of Villa as a child, and I always think when I think of football clubs, because I'm very nostalgic. When I think of football clubs as a kid, I look back and I think of the players, and I'll tell you what, I remember two players stand out for me. A guy called Tony Daly, I think he was a right winger. He was like an absolute greyhound in a football kit. He was so rapid, it was unreal. He used to run at left backs, tricks, a rarity now. Actually, you don't get wingers like that now. They go back to the fullback. This guy, his first thought would be, I'm going to roast that fullback, and it was so entertaining to watch. And another player I absolutely admired was Gordon Cowans. What a footballer. What a technically gifted footballer that guy was. Even as I must have been 8 or 9. And I just thought, wow, this guy, he was unreal. But an Aston Villa, absolute legend, I'm sure he was. Brilliant footballer. Yeah, but let's see, can he take him any further? I'd love to get Villa fans' comments in the comments there. I'd love to get your opinion, just to see, because obviously you guys see them every week. I just see them when I catch the games on telly or stuff I see on social media, or just through my general knowledge of football, which I think is quite good. But yeah, I'd love to hear your comments. I'm not going to rattle on, and yeah, good luck tonight at Brighton. I'm filming before you're going, so good luck with that one. Take care.